Welcome to the Blue Collar Boxing Podcast. I am Luke from Biloxi. Give us a follow on X at Blue Collar Boxing. Like, subscribe, it helps the channel. I'm here to talk about UFC's deal with Paramount Plus, worth $7.7 billion over a 7-year period that will get rid of the pay-per-view model for UFC. A huge deal for them, big win. It shows the dire straits that boxing is in the United States, particularly. Let's remember Paramount Plus is a parent company of Showtime. They divested away from boxing and are now signing a tremendous deal to carry the UFC. I was inspired to do this video because recently I started to think about what have I spent this year on pay-per-view boxing. I'm a degenerate boxing fan. If you're making a podcast about boxing in the United States, you're a degenerate boxing fan. I know a lot of you out there watch your pay-per-view boxing through alternate means. I actually pay for all my boxing. Say whatever you want. That's what I do. I also pay for the subscription services. So it adds up. And if you're a boxing fan in the United States watching boxing and paying for your boxing, this is probably what you spent this year. So I'm going to go through a little list here. Bivol Beterbiev, 25.99. Benavidez Morel, 79.99. Uh, Tank Roach, 79.99. Garcia and Raleigh, that Friday card from Times Square, bundled with the Canelo fight the next day, 89.99. Paul Chavez, June 26th, that was 59.99. Berlanga Shiraz, bundled with the Usyk defense against Dubois, that was 94.99. Same day, Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios, 79.99. And then, of course, to round it out, 24.99 for Deontay Wilder's return fight. I bought the DAZN subscription that they were selling at a rate last November during their Christmas package where I could get 12 months for 112 bucks, so roughly 10 bucks a month. I know their full price month to month is 25.99 or 24.99, what have you. I added $80 into this because that's where we are through August. And I should also add, I'm going to buy the 49.99 Moses Atama versus Dillian White fight. I think it's atrocious that that is cost that much in the United States, but I'm a boxing degenerate. Nobody knows who they are here in the US. So kind of confused by the price point there. That should be a free on DAZN fight, or no, it should be a free on DAZN fight. Uh, I'm not counting my ESPN Plus subscription or my Netflix subscription because I get other programming with those things. I subscribe to Zone exclusively to get boxing content, not darts, not soccer, some of the other stuff that they do, not into it. If they didn't have boxing at the level that they have it now, I would not subscribe. So where does that leave the American boxing fan? Guys, this is up over $600 and we are in August. And I should also note, these are the baseline prices without taxes. Where I live, they actually tax my pay-per-view purchases, and it comes up on my credit card. So we have a pay-per-view problem. We are digging ourselves a hole. We are not able to get exposure of talent in the United States. It's awful. Guys, I don't particularly like conversations about boxing is dead. It's clearly thriving in Japan. It's clearly thriving in the UK. In North America, it's big in Mexico. But boxing has a pay-per-view problem. Uh, Asking a sports fan, if you asked a regular sports fan of, say, the NBA or the NFL, to be a fan of the sport and to actually watch live contests, you had to give the essential average of what a new car payment is a year. They would look at you shocked and say, well, how many tickets do I get to events before they agree to that deal? You get no tickets for a car payment a year. We're only in August. And I don't know what's scheduled for the rest of the year as far as pay per view, but I suspect there will be more. I know Canelo Crawford is on Netflix, but we cannot sustain the sport in any meaningful way in the United States by charging working class, lower middle class, even upper middle class people a car payment a year to be a fan. It's not going to work. We are living off the money of Turkey Al Sheikh and the Saudis right now, and they've done some pretty good things. I have to say, they've made some big fights. I've watched them, I've enjoyed them. They are into boxing because they want to put Saudi on the world stage in ways that don't include petroleum. They want their perception in the world to be from third world to first world. Uh, that's why they invest in soccer. That's why they invest in golf. And it's now why they invest in boxing. So we can't just, it's in line to say, oh, don't worry about it. The Saudis got us. And I'm talking about as fans. The Saudis are going to continue to fund this sport. And as fans, we'll be able to watch it. I can tell you that that's not true. I know a lot of people have said the Saudis can print money, and they can. However, they're going to want a return on their investment. And their return on their investment may not be profits on these shows. Their return is exposure. Their return is getting eyeballs on the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And if they're not getting that, no matter how much money they can print, they will stop funding boxing. And then what are we going to do? What are we going to do after that? Someone told me recently, well, it'll just go back to Vegas. Guys, Vegas is dying. Vegas is dying for a number of reasons. I'm going to focus on boxing. One of the big reasons boxing became so big in Vegas is it had the allure of going out to a fight and also being able to bet on it, which was only legal in Las Vegas at the time. I think it might have been legal in Atlantic City. Someone check me on that. Now you can bet on boxing on your phone anywhere in the United States, pretty much, right? At least a lot more than before. There's no reason to fly out to Vegas to throw a couple bucks on your fighter. There's no reason to go out to Vegas to also go gamble on the floor. You can go to casinos everywhere. Here in Biloxi, we have casinos everywhere. I don't need to fly to Vegas to play blackjack. So, I remember someone talking about Cooney Homes and that the floor of the casinos that night did record numbers. They were content to maybe lose some money on the gate, but they knew they'd make it up on the floor. That's over. You can't count on Las Vegas saving boxing in the United States. There's got to be big changes. If you continue to ask American working class people who spend their money on this sport to do so in this manner, in this egregious manner, we used to have quarterly, like one big pay-per-view a quarter. There were more here and there, but that's the way it was, right? Everything else you got through your HBO or your Showtime subscription. Now we get two or three a weekend, right? I just paid for Pacquiao Barrios and Usyk the same weekend. You can't ask people to do that. And as we get close to the National Football League regular season and American college football regular season, those pay-per-view buys are going to dwindle even more. I can't think of one of these shows that was actually profitable for the promoter, except for Paul Chavez. That made money. Everything else lost money for the promoters, including Pacquiao Barrios. I'm hearing that did poorly, at least not enough to justify the purses. So eventually the money's going to run out, and that includes the Saudi money. That includes the Saudi money. Changes have to be made. You have to make this sport more accessible. Now, the days of it going to NBC, ABC, CBS, I realize that's over. But the model that they have now, I don't know how it continues. And as an American boxing fan, it saddens me, not just because it's going to cost more, but it's inflating fighter purses. And you have fighters trying to chase that Saudi bag. And eventually, if that runs out, they're not going to want to fight at all. They're going to go from 15 million a fight to 2 million a fight, and they're not going to want to do it. Um, Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Where do we go from here as boxing fans? Where does the sport go in the United States? And could this be the beginning of some serious dark days for the sport? I appreciate your time. I'm Luke from Biloxi. This is the Blue Collar Boxing Podcast.